What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. I'm Mistress Carrie. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with me every Tuesday night at 8:30 here in my war room. My co-host was just in here, and now she's gone, and I don't know where she is, and I got to find a squeaker to lure her back. Get the fucking stingray. There she is. Come here, Wednesday, so I can turn the Pug Cam on. Come on, get in here. Everybody wants to say hi. There she is. Thank you guys for checking out Cocktails in the War Room every Tuesday night at 8:30. We get together to talk about what's going on in our lives and how you're holding up through all of this craziness that has turned out to be the entire calendar year of 2020 and then some. And because of all of the coronavirus craziness, my co-host, as always, is my dog Wednesday. You can follow her on Instagram at Wednesday the Goth Pug. I apologize that she always likes to show you her butthole. I don't know why she does that, but she does. And I always like to get her in here right off the bat because you know how she is. She has energy for 10 minutes and then she takes off and we never see her the rest of the night. So I wanted to make sure that she came in here to hang out. There you go. Where's the stingray? Give me the stingray. Give me that thing. There she is. Say hi to everybody. Say hi. She's eyeing my sangria. You cannot have my sangria. Oh, God. How are you guys? What's going on? How you holding up? How is everybody handling another week? Right off the bat, I want to say thank you very much to Latini Creative Solutions for sponsoring this week's episode of Cocktails in the War Room and also this week's podcast episode. You can track them down at latinicreative.com. And I also want to thank Jumptown Skydiving, who you can find online at jumptown.com. If you are looking to go jump out of a plane before the end of the year, they're taking tandem skydiving reservations Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays for the foreseeable future. So let me turn the Pug Cam on again so you can see her putting a beating on the stingray, which is one of the many things she has received from you guys. Maybe she wants Wednesday's bedtime, 8:45. That is not a lie. Today is fired. Oh boy, says Krista. What's going on? Great kind of dead at the beach at night, but good warm weather, says Kathy. I'm good. Bummed that I have not made it back to New England this year. Joe says, what's up, War Room family? 2 screens going here. Mistress Carrie on my laptop, Bruins on the television. I expect Bruins updates from you guys because all I can manage is maintaining the Pug Cam in here in the war room. I do not have the television on to be able to keep my eye on the game. So if you guys could give me some Bruins updates. Yes, the ducking stingray. Exactly. Great today that I'm here with you. Thank you very much, Danielle. You said cocktail, says Tom. What day is this? Like 150? You know what? I think it's 92, which does somebody have an accurate count as to how many episodes of Cocktails in the War Room this is? I think it's 92, but I could be wrong. My store is closing, so I am out of a job. I'm so sorry, Jillian. Unfortunately, I know exactly how you feel. So I think the first thing we should do is, as always, we like to toast. Yes, I'm going full Fernandez tonight in my skull mug. We should toast everybody that's still dealing with employment issues. I know how it feels. I know what it's like. It absolutely sucks. And, oh, look who came back with the ducking stingray again. So cheers to all of you guys for another week, for handling more bad news, for things not being perfect and you still trying to make the best of it. Keep your head up. It can get better. It's just, we just all got to stick together and figure it out. So, a lot of congratulations coming from you guys, which I appreciate. Thank you very much. Waiting for the second stimulus package, says Lisa. When was the last night of AAF? Says Norman. It was February 21st was the last day of AAF. The first day of Cocktails in the War Room was on March 14th. I believe that we had said that episode 100 was coming in September. I think, or it was October 4th, somebody said was going to be episode 100 of Cocktails in the War Room. So we got to come up with an accurate count. So thank you very much, Jeff. David says, stupid shutdowns. They don't do anything to stop the virus, says Annette. Congratulations. So very happy for you, says Michelle. Cheers to all of us getting together and gathering here with MC, says Donna. Thank you very much. Dropping by to say hello and cheers for the B-Day. Bruins tied at 1-1. Oh, that is fantastic. Thank you very much for the sangria. Tracy says, I love Wednesday. How many shirts have you sold? I love mine. Well, Frank, we discontinued the Cocktails in the War Room shirts temporarily. I know we're very close to launching the website as soon as I have more details on that. And obviously, when we stock the online store, Cocktails in the War Room merchandise is going to come back. But the back is going to be different to the Cocktails in the War Room t-shirts. And that is so that the original fundraising t-shirts will be standalone. And you'll be able to tell by the back of the shirt if they're the original. I think it was just under 800. That was for the charity shirts. And but the Cocktails in the War Room shirts are coming back. Dusty and I wish you a long and happy marriage. Thank you very much, Monica. Carrie and Wednesday, says Carol. Awesome. That means I need another shirt, says Amanda. Yes, we're going to change the back. Do you still pass the sangria through the bushes? Marcel wants to know. We pass it socially distanced in the driveway. Unless he comes here to drop it off and I'm not here, and then he will stash it in the bushes. But the last time Fernandez made a drop off, I was able to see him with a mask on in the driveway, standing at a socially distant 6 feet away. But we were able to at least say hi and catch up a little bit in the driveway. Fernandez suffered a loss in the family recently. And so we send you our love. And sangria, as always, is delicious. Haven't been able to get it on in a while. What's up, Kat? Thank you for coming back. William wants to know how the garden's going. So the garden is going great. My tomato plants are psychotic. There's no other way to describe them. I keep going out in the garden and they've tipped over the tomato cages because they're getting so big and heavy. I did not have a good zucchini year. I don't know about you guys, but my zucchinis just did not grow in that great. I got a couple, but not very much. And my summer squashes are huge. The cucumbers are on their last legs, I think, right now. The Brussels sprouts are doing great, but you can't pick those until the first frost. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to have there. I had a great green pepper year, great banana pepper year. My basil is fantastic. All of the herbs actually grew really well. And the tomatoes have been delicious. My green beans have done really well. Not extraordinary, but they're right on par with how we've done in years past. But I'm really kind of bummed out about the zucchini, and I can't believe I forgot to plant eggplant and pumpkins this year. It just totally skipped my mind. Kathy says my zucchini sucked. Yeah, I don't know what it is. A lot of people that I've talked to that have their own home gardens said that this was a really hard year for their zucchinis. Crazy huge cucumbers here, says Bridget. Exactly. I got big zucchini, says Wayne. Stop bragging, Wayne. Sometimes it's not about the size, you know. It's about how delicious it is. It's not how big it is. How's the melon, says Joe. Really, Joe? I didn't grow any, actually. So the two that I have are fine. Thank you very much for asking. Captain and Coke for my Danielle and I in Hillsborough, New Hampshire. Pound it down. Travis, hey, can we raise a glass to my friend, Staff Sergeant Michael Downing? Yes, he passed away, and a bunch of us are doing a motorcycle escort to Bourne tomorrow. Yeah, we have to talk about Mike Downing because he passed away recently. He was a double amputee Army veteran who was not only a beneficiary of the Boston Wounded Vet Run, but also just a huge veterans advocate and beloved by everyone that ever met him. I had the pleasure of meeting him on several occasions, and he passed away recently. And he just left a mark in not only the motorcycle community, but the veterans community here in New England. And so to Staff Sergeant Downing, we can all do a cheers for him. That would be greatly appreciated. Pat wants to know, tell me that you're getting married in your bunny suit. No, that's not happening, Pat. Well, that was weird. You guys hear that squeak? I didn't want you to think I farted. It's the mug on the styrofoam with the microphone cover. Very strange. Thank you guys for cheering him, by the way. I appreciate it. I know the family appreciates it as well. Man, am I late? Crap, says Amanda. Salute, please find a dominant woman for me. Michael, that is not my job. There's a whole internet for you and your kinks and sexual perversions and all of that other stuff. There's Google for that. Travis says, thank you, by the way. Can we all come to your wedding, says Dave. No. I appreciate it, though. I'm sure my mom appreciates the sentiment, and I'm sure my other half appreciates the sentiment as well. I will tell you guys a couple things. Obviously, you know how private I am with a lot of things, and I try to keep certain things from being fodder for everyone, but I will tell you a couple things. Number one, the next time we get together in the war room, I will be married, which is why this is my bridal shower. So all the dudes that are here, if you've never been to a bridal shower, you're at your first bridal shower. And the other thing is, and I'll mention it and put it up on the screen now. I want to thank all of the new people that got a Mistress Carrie backstage pass over the last week. So we got to say what's up to Linda, Derek, Debbie, Keith, Ash, and Monica. My official fan club, the Mistress Carrie backstage pass, is available on Patreon. So go to patreon.com/Mistress Carrie. Over the last week, I've been having discussions with people with Mistress Carrie backstage passes about my wedding ring. And over the next week, there are definitely going to be some backstage access things to my wedding preparation and some early access to some photographs and stuff like that. So if you have not already signed up for a Mistress Carrie backstage pass, this is probably going to be a really good week to do it because, we kind of sprung it on everybody. It's one of those things where when you have something really good, and I think we can all kind of admit that this year has been tough in a lot of different ways for a lot of different reasons. If you're having money struggles, work struggles, family struggles, health struggles, there's a lot of stuff going on with people's kids because they're not back in school. It's been really hard. And so the decision was, there's something really good and happy to celebrate in 2020. Why wait? So we're not going to. So for everybody that is having a hard time right now, we're going to cheers to all of you guys and cheers to the little victories. Right now, the bees are up 2-1. So there you go. We got to take the little good news when we can. And to clinging on to the rays of sunshine that we get in a really hard year, which is exactly why we made the decision that we did. And so to all of you guys that are just holding on to the little rays of sunshine to get through what has been quite a shit year for most people. Cheers to you guys for staying strong and for also finding happiness wherever you can, because we got to find it. And I know a lot of people, including myself, find it here every Tuesday night at 8:30. So cheers to you guys. And also cheers to everybody that has already gotten the Mistress Carrie backstage pass. If you have one, you're definitely going to be getting some behind the scenes access to everything that I have going on this week. So if you don't have the backstage pass, now's a good time to get it because this week is going to be fun. Okay. So I wanted to talk to you guys about last week's podcast episode. The first thing I want to say is thank you guys so much for falling in love with my Uncle Froggy as much as I have. The support and all of your kind words and just all of the great comments about this week's episode have been amazing. Yesterday, I received this picture of my Uncle Froggy, which is him, I believe, in Airborne School. Uncle Froggy's mom is still alive. She's 95. She doesn't live in New England anymore. And obviously, anybody knows when you're dealing with people that are on the older side, they don't necessarily adapt to new technology very well, including Uncle Froggy and obviously including his mom. So it's been really hard for me to find old pictures of Uncle Froggy because a lot of them are developed and in a shoebox somewhere. I was able to find a couple. I showed you one last week when I announced that he was going to be my guest on episode 11. But Uncle Froggy's mom, through family channels, sent me this picture of Uncle Froggy from what has to be late 1967 or very early 1968 when he was in airborne school. And it's just crazy because I've never seen him this young. Obviously, by the time I was born, he had already come home from Vietnam, and the memories that I have from him are, when I was 5, 6, 7 years old. So he didn't look like that baby face that you see in that picture. Heidi says Uncle Froggy is a badass. Yes, exactly. That is an awesome picture, says Amanda. It was a great podcast, says Lisa. Thank you very much. If you listen to the podcast, you know that the discussion about Uncle Froggy reconnecting with some of the other LRPs that he served with, the Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol, he has not seen any of them in 50 years. He said that the last one that he saw was a guy named Tom Lyons, who was in a different group, a different unit of LRPs. If you listen to the podcast, Uncle Froggy would talk about how there were 2 groups of 6 that would go out, and the other 2 groups of 6 would come back and rest. And every 6 days they rotated in and out. So they worked for 6 days, got 6 days off, worked for 6 days, got 6 days off. So one of the guys that was in the opposite schedule as him was also from Massachusetts. His name was Tom Lyons. What's crazy is that there is a Marine LRP named Tom Lyons from Massachusetts who started a veterans organization. And he comes up on all the Google searches. But to my knowledge, that is not the Tom Lyons that Uncle Froggy was talking about, because the LRP that Uncle Froggy served with was in the Army. And so trying to find the guys that Uncle Froggy referenced in the podcast has proven to be a little bit difficult. So for the people that really know the ins and outs, I know that Fernandez has been trying to help me. I know that Travis from the War Room has been trying to help out as well in trying to track down specific information. But if you go back and listen to some of the details that Uncle Froggy gave, not only on Tom Lyons, but on some of the other ones, just to try and track these guys down, I would just really like Uncle Froggy to have the information. One of the most powerful parts of, Richard Fitz says, only gotten through half of the Uncle Froggy episode. However, when he mentioned the recon school, which was started by my father's unit. No way, really? It's interesting that it has the same name as me, Carol, but McDonough is my last name. Ryan, I'm sorry, I lost. Travis says, I know Tom Lyons. He started the New England Center and Home for Veterans. Exactly, Travis. But he's a Marine. And so it's strange that there would be a Marine LRP and an Army LRP from the same place that served at the same time, but it's not the same person. So unless the Marine Tom Lyons originally started out in the Army and then went over to the Marines, which I don't think is what happened. I don't know. It's just, we're dealing with 50-year-old memories here. We're dealing with old information. So to everybody that has not listened to the episode yet, please listen to episode 11 with my Uncle Froggy in it, and any help that you can be steering us towards trying to find his buddy Tom Lyons. I refer to him as the pizza guy in the podcast because the last time they got together, they went drinking in Leominster together, and then they ended up in the old combat zone in Boston, got pizza together, threw up the pizza together, and then the next day separated, went their own ways, and haven't seen each other since. And literally that was 50 years ago. And I would love to be able to tell Uncle Froggy that we found him, and to see if we could connect them. That would be amazing. So Travis says, yes, he was. Wait, Travis, are you saying that he was in the Army and then he joined the Marine Corps? Are you saying that this could be the same Tom Lyons that we're looking for? The comments are going fast and furious on my screen, so I'm sorry if Was there a playlist for Uncle Froggy? Yes, there was, Tony. There's a lot of Beatles music in there. There's some Rolling Stones. There's The Association. All of the bands that he mentioned in the podcast are up in the playlist that is linked in that episode. There's a podcast playlist for every episode. If you click on that episode, there's a whole bunch of links, including all of my links. And then there's always a link for the playlist. And you can find it on there. Do they go to the VFW a lot? Uncle Froggy does not go to the VFW ever. No, Tom Lyons, Marine, was always a Marine. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. No, Uncle Froggy really kind of came home. And I think other than dealing with the VA because of his extensive injuries in his neck and shoulder and chest area from the gunshot wound, I don't really think he's been active in the veterans community at all. And I think one of the most powerful parts of the podcast for me was when he was talking about how he never talked about anything. And at one point in the podcast, he actually said, I think talking about it could help. And I couldn't believe it, that he actually acknowledged that maybe after all this time talking about the things that he had done and the things that he had seen and experienced could actually help him process it all these years later. And so I just would really love to to make this connection. A lot of people are talking about Patty, who suffered a loss as well. And I love the fact that when people are here in the war room and they talk about how they're having a hard time or they've suffered a loss, that you guys are always right there to be so supportive. So I love that about you guys and how supportive you all are. Yeah, I mean, it is powerful that, people are getting things off their chest, Lisa. Exactly. Keith says, yes, but the VFW may have a record of the person that you're searching for. Totally. I was just hoping that maybe we were going to be able to do some remedial Googling, and that has obviously not turned out to be fruitful. So we're definitely going to have to take it to the next level. Tied at 2 at the second intermission. Thank you very much for the Bruins update, Shannon. I appreciate that. What else was great is on my Instagram, I actually got a comment from one of Uncle Froggy's biological nieces, who was so grateful and thankful that I did this episode, because she said that they learned a lot and that it's something that they're always going to be able to keep in the family. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this episode as well, is that we're losing these veteran stories. I talked about how I had wished that I had always done this with my grandfather, and I never did, partly because he just never wanted to talk about anything. He was one of those veterans that, served in World War II and then re-upped to go to Korea. And then when he came home, he went back to work and was married to my grandmother and had a family. And it was like that was part of his life, and he left it behind. I know later in life, as he was suffering from the effects of Alzheimer's and a lot of those memories came back, that there were a lot of things we learned about him that we never knew before. But my grandfather was never someone to give up information about his deployments, very little, small bits. And it wasn't until my cousins joined the Navy that my grandfather was willing to kind of share anything, and he did it with them. And so I really thought it was important that while Uncle Froggy still remembers everything, I mean, he was rattling off names and dates and places about getting into the Army and his deployment and the schools. I mean, he knew the name of his drill instructor 51 or 52 years later. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this episode, was to document his service and his memories. And so, like I said, he's not a biological uncle for me. The rest of his biological family doesn't even live around here anymore. And so to get a message from his niece that she was really happy about the episode, really made me happy. And it was very touching that his family, his biological blood family, was really happy that he decided to do this interview. Kayla says, I wish I had done some sort of documenting of my grandfathers. Neither of them talked much about their time in the service. It wasn't until my grandfather on my dad's side passed that I found an album with all of his old photos from his time in the war. My dad had never seen those photos before either. And that's the thing. If you still have one of your grandfathers that served in World War II or Korea or even Vietnam, now's the time to ask them to talk about it. Now is the time to try and compile some of the details of their service and to get these pictures together, because you're going to run out of time like I did. And you're going to regret, like I do, that you didn't do more research and didn't document it. You just always think, oh, there'll be time, there'll be time, there'll be time. And my grandfather passed away 36 hours after I came home from Iraq in 2006. And by then it was already too late, because he had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and had been battling that for years. And so the time for me to ask was long ago. And so Travis says, we never forget our drill instructors. You know what? If you guys, this will make for really funny comments in the war room. If you guys are prior service, prior military veterans, or still active military, what was the name of your drill instructor? Because you must all still remember them, because they leave such a lasting impression. So put those up in the comments, because that'll be pretty funny actually to read all of those. But please just talk to the older veterans in your family now while you still have the chance. Ask them to dig out those pictures, to tell you those stories, to fill you in on those memories, and at least be able to get some of the information so that you'll be able to get their documents and be able to find out what awards they were given by the military, and just to know this kind of stuff. Wendy says, my grandfather served in World War II. He was 1st Battalion, 5th Marine. My husband served in Iraq in 2003, 1st Battalion, 5th Marine. How cool is that? And when they met, my grandfather told my husband things that he had never spoken about to anyone, even up to 2 days before he passed. That's what I'm talking about. David says, Drill Sergeant Mulcahy. Is that real, or is that a movie reference? Smart ass. I do remember him always yelling at me, says Jeff. Ryan says, my grandfather was in the war years ago. He said, now this past year, away from having his ribs broken, and he had pneumonia, which was sad. Yeah. My father-in-law served in World War II. Somebody came in and did an interview for the Library of Congress. Senior drill instructor Sergeant Mascaranez. Yeah, see, you guys all remember your drill instructors. I knew that you would. Diva says, my uncle was a World War II veteran. He had Thanksgiving in the palace with the Queen of England. No way, really? It's real, says David. Mulcahy was the chaplain on MASH, right? Wasn't that Father Mulcahy? That's what I thought. My grandfather served in World War II and received a Purple Heart, says Bish. See, there you go. We have amazing history with our families, and you definitely want to get that stuff. Richard Fitz says, did you see the lost, never seen of my father that I recently received? So crazy. No, I didn't, Richard. So you need to show that to me. Father Mulcahy was the pastor on MASH. Okay, I thought that. That's why I was like, is that his real last name? Because I knew that it was from MASH. Wendy says, mine as well. Elsa, happy birthday, Tom. And I hope your birthday wishes come true. Okay, hold on a second. Are we celebrating birthdays? If we're celebrating birthdays, happy birthday, Tom. Also, happy birthday to Gene Simmons. And Vivian Campbell was born on this date, who is now obviously in Def Leppard. Elvis Costello and Billy Ray Cyrus also celebrating a birthday today. And Rob Halford, which is why I busted out the Judas Priest shirt. And this Judas Priest shirt in particular was when I went to go and see Judas Priest in Romania a couple of years ago with a certain person. So happy birthday, Tom, and everybody else that's celebrating a birthday with us here in the War Room. You definitely are celebrating with rock royalty today, because there's some pretty impressive people. And no, I'm not talking about Billy Ray Cyrus, but there's some pretty impressive people that were also born on this date. Okay, should we talk about this week's podcast episode? Oh, you guys are going to be so psyched. You guys are going to be so psyched. It was so awesome to record this episode. This week's episode is Mike motherfucking Shue. And he was the first in-person guest here in the War Room. And Mike Shue wanted to be the one to christen MCHQ. And so for episode 12 of the Mistress Carrie podcast, Mike Shue actually came and sat down and was the first in-person guest in MCHQ. And Mike Shue's got a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, when he came in and did the War Room with me, we were talking about WAF a lot. And because it's the first time that we had seen each other in person since the station went off the air. Mike Shue and I in this episode of the podcast are talking a lot about what's going on recently. We talked about some new music that's come out. We talked a lot about the 2 podcasts that he's working on, the Neil Young podcast that he's doing, and then also the Breaking the Ice podcast that has had me on a couple of times, and also about his new radio gig because Mike Shue is back on the radio as well. And all of those things and more are going to be talked about in this week's episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast, which goes live at midnight. And the playlist is going to be awesome. So when you download the podcast episode, wherever you listen to podcasts, which it could be any one of these, Apple, Google, Spotify, radio.com, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Deezer, Overcast, Radio Public, TuneIn, Pocket Casts, and Pandora. Make sure you look in the description because there's also going to be a link for a Spotify playlist in there with all of the music that we talked about. And I'm happy to say we are 80 countries strong with the podcast. We didn't add anybody new in the last week, but if you know anybody in the countries that are still grayed out on this map, make sure that you are sending them links and getting them into the Mistress Carrie podcast family because we're 80 countries and growing, which is just unbelievable. So I'm super excited. You guys know how much I love sitting down with Mike Shue. And every time he and I sit down, it feels like we're back on the radio together. And I got to tell you, it's the first time that I did a live interview in MCHQ. And it was the first time that MCHQ felt like WAF used to, because I was actually in there talking to somebody. And it literally felt, and we talked about it in the podcast episode, it felt like we were back in the studio again. Although MCHQ is much cleaner, although he did find the one stain on my countertop, and then he took a picture of it, which you will probably see on his Instagram. I was like, really, Mike? There's like one thing on the counter in here that is not spotless. And he's like, I know, that's why I'm taking a picture of it. Was it video recorded also? No, Debbie, it wasn't. It was just audio recorded. I do have plans of expanding the Mistress Carrie podcast to video, but one of the things I'm trying to get done first is to obviously get MCHQ 100% and to get the podcast 100%. And then the next thing that needs to happen is I got to get the website up and I got to get the online store rolling, which is what we're working on right now. Once we get that taken care of, as you guys know, when we do the War Room and we have guests in here, we always put the War Room episodes up on the YouTube channel as well. And so I'm going to be using the YouTube channel to be able to put up the video aspects of the podcast. And these are all in the works. But you got to give me some time. I'm working on it slowly. I got to get cameras installed into MCHQ. And I also have to get to the point where I'm going to be proficient at editing video. And I'm still troubleshooting MCHQ and really making sure that the studio is functioning the way that I want it to. So video's coming, but we did not videotape this week's podcast episode. So you're just going to... Did you safely turn on a black light in MCHQ? There should not be any of those black light stains in there because it's a brand new studio. Brand new couch, brand new everything. Pervs. Did you get him to do a striptease for you? Arlene wants to know. I did not. Did they do the dicks before the show? We didn't eat bags of dicks during the podcast episode, I'm ashamed to say. Video definitely adds another level of complication, says Kayla. Exactly. And like I said, I'm doing all this myself, including producing the War Room right now. So, you guys got to give me a break. Pam wants to know if I'm honeymooning. No, not immediately. And there is going to be a honeymoon sometime in the future, but definitely not in the immediate future. So don't worry. I'll be back in the War Room next Tuesday, and there will be a new podcast episode next Wednesday. So he's your brother from WAF. You worked with him for almost 30 years. He's now your brother. Yeah, Thomas, you're right. I mean, I think we counted, we worked together 20, I believe it was 21 years or just under 21 years. So yeah, he is family. I will let you in on this little secret. His wife is a florist, and she's making my bridal bouquet. So I will fill you in on that little nugget of information. But if you want to see the bridal bouquet and some of the other stuff before anybody else, you got to get yourself a Mistress Carrie backstage pass. So I'll put in another plug for the backstage passes that you can get at patreon.com/Mistress Carrie. So I'm super excited about this week's podcast episode. I hope you guys love it. I hope you have as much fun listening to it as we had recording it. It literally is one of those things. And I'll just tell you this, the episode is completely unedited. There are some episodes that I have to edit more so for audio issues or to tighten up pauses that were abnormally long if we were using like a video conference thing or whatever to record. But Mike Shue and I, when you listen to this episode tonight at midnight, he literally sat down, I hit record, and that's the podcast episode from beginning to end. And so I wanted to do it that way because I wanted you guys to hear naturally how we are and still are, and that none of that magic has been lost, not working together daily for the last 6 months, which, by the way, I can't believe it's been 6 months. The 6-month anniversary of WAF going off the air was August 21st, and it's August 25th. And so it's been 6 months, and it's just crazy to me. So I'm super excited for you guys to hear the episode. I think you're going to love it. Does he still owe you a roast beef sandwich? Jared wants to know. Yeah, because he stole one of the ones that Spencer Charnas from Ice Nine Kills gave me. So yes, he does. Wendy said, I think she said no last week. Oh, the purple. Yeah, you guys asked if my wedding dress is purple. It is not, because I don't want to look like Violet Beauregard from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I'm not going to answer any more questions about my wedding dress right now because someone is listening and I don't want him to know what my dress looks like. So I'm not going to answer any more questions, but you guys will see it. No fucking swearing, LOL, says Thomas. But you guys will be able to see it all coming up. So what's your favorite flowers? Heidi wants to know. My favorite smelling flowers are lilacs and purple roses. They just happen to be around the same color. But Shue's, or Mrs. Shue, I should say, I basically just called her and said, hey, I'm getting married and you know me and you're weird too. And will you make a bouquet that is going to fit with me and exactly how you think I would want it? And she was like, totally get it. So she sent me like 2 text messages like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I was like, yep. So I have no idea what it's going to look like really, because I'm just letting her do it because she's amazing and so creative and she knows me really well. And so I just know whatever she does and whatever she makes is going to be beautiful. So, what? Good for you, says Kimberly. I know it's all happening so fast and I'm super psyched that you guys have been on this ride with me. And just really excited that there's something to look forward to and some happy news for a change. It's really fucking nice. Let's talk about the mail call because I got some cool stuff in the mail that I wanted to share with you guys. I did put this picture up I got these in the mail and they came anonymously and I didn't know who sent them, but they're amazing. And then I found out that my sister sent them. So I wanted to show you guys the bride and groom Pez dispensers that are going to be on the cake, which is hilarious. But these I got from my sister, which is awesome. So thank you very much to my sister because they're amazing. You know me so well. And then I also got these signs that came in the mail and they came anonymously. And there's 2 of them. They're metal signs that come with these adhesive like magnets. So it magnetized on the side of the sign and then it comes with a sticky thing so you can put these signs up everywhere. So I first got this one. It says, if you think you're too old to rock and roll, then you are. That has Lemmy on it, which is amazing. I don't know where I'm going to hang them yet, but they're probably going to end up in MCHQ. Let's be honest. And then this one I also love. And this one says, don't judge my pug and I won't judge your kids, which couldn't be more fitting if you tried. So to the anonymous person that sent me these signs, I absolutely love them. They are hilarious. I don't know who you are, but thank you so much because I really appreciate them. So thank you. Those are awesome. So there's the mailing address. If you want to send anything, obviously you don't have to. But I just love the fact that when you guys see weird, crazy, kooky things that you're like, oh, Mistress Carrie would totally love that. And you send them to me. I look forward to getting mail, which is nice. Let's see. Music headlines. We got stuff to talk about in music. First of all, there's a lot going on with Seether this week. They have their new album coming out on Friday. I believe it's pronounced, it's Latin. It's is it pronounced Si West Pacem Parabellum, which is if you want peace, prepare for war in Latin. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly or not, but that's what the Latin translation means. That is coming out on Friday. And then Locked and Loaded, which is their live full production streaming concert, is coming up on Sunday. So if you want all things Seether, you can go to their website and get all of the details on the new album and also on their live stream, which is, David, did you send those to me? He says, you are welcome. So I'm assuming, David, you sent those to me. Thank you so much. Yes, the posters are awesome. So go to the Seether website to get all of the details on Locked and Loaded and on the new album. There is a Chris Cornell film coming out. I know we've talked about it in the past. Is it biopic or biopic? Because I've heard people pronounce it both ways. Either way, there is a Chris Cornell biopic or a Chris Cornell biopic called Black Days that is coming out, and the family said it is being made with no cooperation from the family, and it is in fact an unauthorized biopic or biopic. So don't put them up backwards, says Joe. I appreciate that. So yeah, it's unauthorized, which means I'm very curious if they're going to be able to use any of Chris Cornell's music in the movie. I don't think you can. I think we went through this with the Jimi Hendrix unauthorized movie that his estate didn't allow the music to be used, but I'm not sure. Netflix announced that they are coming out with a film. Now, remember that Martin Shkreli pharma bro asshole guy that had all that money and he bought the one copy of the Wu-Tang Clan's album Once Upon a Time in Shaolin? Then he ended up going to jail for all of that shady shit that he did with the pharmaceutical company that he owned. Netflix is making a movie about the whole story, about the Wu-Tang album and how Martin Shkreli bought it. And I don't know if we're going to get to hear any of the music from it because literally there's one copy. I think he spent $3 million on it or something like that, which is crazy. So Netflix has got that movie in production. And then the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, you know how they always say that not all heroes wear capes? These people are heroes because one of the things that we continually talk about here in the War Room is how we all miss going to concerts and getting together and being able to go and have those live experiences. They did a large experiment in Leipzig, Germany, where they got 1,500 people together. They did a bunch of tests on all of them, and then they outfitted them. They sprayed like this I don't know if it was black light responsive stuff on like their hands and their face. And they sent them to a concert and let them have the concert experience. And then they tested everybody leaving the concert. And everyone was a willing participant in this experiment to see exactly how the coronavirus would be transferred person to person at a live event like that. And this kind of experiment and this kind of scientific research is the kind of stuff that we need to be able to figure out, is it as dangerous as some of the experts say? Is it not as dangerous as some of the experts say? And to be able to come up with protocols that will allow us to be able to go to concerts again and to see these bands live again and to get these bands back out on the road again. So I know that you guys can get on the Google machine and you can Google this German concert experiment. And I just thought it was really cool and really amazing that 1,500 people were like, yes, we want to be part of this so that we can find the cure for it and to get more information on the transmission rates and the transmission distances and to really be able to figure out how we can protect ourselves getting together in large groups in close proximity to each other again, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, it's really interesting, Renee. Jeff says, what a cool experiment. Exactly. So if you guys jump on Google, I'm sure somebody can throw the link up here in the war room. But I thought you guys would think it was really interesting and cool that there are people out there that are trying to get to the bottom of all of this stuff. And it's not just concerts. Sporting events are going to benefit from this kind of experiment as well. College commencement ceremonies are going to benefit from these kinds of experiments. So it's pretty cool. Let's see. Kathy says, Mrs. Shu worked with her friend, Kathy, and did the flowers for her wedding and loved their work. Exactly. Yeah, I can't wait. They're still compiling the results, David. That's why I'm saying go Google it and you'll be able to read. I'm Googling that later. Sounds interesting. Oh, Michael just put up one of the links, which is fantastic. Thank you very much. Google it later. Cool. The drawback to that is it's a virus and we in the medical profession have no idea how viruses are transmitted. Bacterial transmission is much easier to figure out. Exactly, Carol, which is why experiments like this, Wednesday, what do you have? What is that you have? Give me, what is in your mouth? Did you see that? Do you see what I just pulled out of her mouth? Should I turn the Pug Cam back on again? You know what this is that she's eating? Wednesday. See that? That's a peanut M&M, Wednesday. That is what used to be a yellow peanut M&M. And I got it. She came in here and was eating it in front of me, the little shit, like I wasn't going to catch her before she got to the chocolate center and the nut inside. No, you can't have that. And now I have disgusting, melted, half-digested, pug slobbered peanut M&M all over my hand. Blech. I'm going to have to wash it off with some of Fernandez's delicious sangria because my hands are so sticky. I don't even want to touch the keyboard. Wednesday, you know you're not. Look at her. She's licking her lips. Can you see her? Show everybody what a bad girl looks like. Huh? You know you're not supposed to eat chocolate. Yeah. Stop licking your lips. No, you're not going over there on that side of the couch. Come over here. You've got all your toys over here. You can play with everybody. Go on the Pug Cam, but no M&Ms for you. Spoiled brat. She'll do anything to get on television, won't you? Yeah, I know. Stop showing everybody your butthole. It's not polite. So anyway, I thought you'd think that experiment was really cool, not to get off track. Yeah, exactly, David. Yeah, bad dog. Did Shu drop the M&M? Now, I'm not going to blame Mike Shu. I don't know where she got it from. I know there's a bag of peanut M&Ms in the kitchen. So I don't know if she found one on the floor or if someone gave her an M&M, not me, because dogs aren't supposed to have chocolate. But disgusting. Don't lick anything weird and wash your damn hands, says Michael Voorhees. Exactly. It's the slogan of the war room. And there she is licking weird things and not washing her hands. Debbie said she needs a treat. Look, she's giving it to you. Oh, thanks. New 6 a.m. song with Tommy Vext and Corey Taylor, Slash and Joe Elliott and Ivan from Five Finger Death Punch. Thank you very much, producer Mike. There is so many collaborations that are coming out and all of this new music. It's really unreal. It's crazy how much great music has come out, and we're definitely going to be getting more as well, including the new Seether that comes out this week. So Voorhees or Voorhees. Is it Voorhees? I'm sorry. I was thinking of Jason Voorhees. Either Eminem or a gummy dick. Yeah, it's going to be one of the two, Jackie. I'm not sure which one. Or how many she's eaten. Yeah, exactly. She did just go to the vet finally. I don't know about you guys, but all of those, preventative annual checkup appointments all got canceled. And so she was finally able to go and see the nice ladies at the vet. And she got a clean bill of health and her nails clipped. So she's doing very well right now. Let's see. Sangria by Fernandez with moonshine. No, this batch does not have moonshine in it. So it's not full Fernandez. It's just mostly Fernandez. Anybody got an update on the Bruins game? Are we still in the other intermission or are they back playing again? Is the score still 2-2? I'm just curious. Let's see. Largest Dutch family in North America. Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. Michael, thanks for the clarification. Well, at least she didn't lick your teeth again, says Jared. Yeah, remember that time she came into the war room and literally stuck her tongue down my throat and licked my teeth? I still have nightmares about that. Oh my God, Jesse. Jesse, love you, Carrie. Longtime fan. Didn't know you had a live show on Facebook. Well, welcome to the party, Jesse. We meet here every Tuesday night at 8:30. You've missed about 90-ish episodes or so, but they're all documented on the Facebook page. So you got to meet us for a cocktail in the war room every Tuesday. You've got a lot of catching up to do. Still tied 2-2, says Joe. That's fantastic. Resume third period. Okay, awesome. William says that was funny. The night she licked my teeth, it wasn't that funny. We don't need to prolong my agony at all. Yes, I remember that, says Lisa. Let's see. It's been 6 months. What the hell? I'm telling you guys, that's why I always ask you guys to share the event on your Facebook page. That's why I ask you guys to retweet them and to share episodes of the podcast, because a lot of us are on social media a lot. But then there are other people, especially all of the essential workers, the healthcare professionals, first responders, people that have been so consumed with their work and their families and having the kids home, people who used to listen to my radio show commuting back and forth while they were working, and now they don't have those jobs anymore. And they're completely out of their routine and schedule. And they don't even know that we've been meeting in the war room. They don't know about the podcast. If they're not actively following my Twitter or my Instagram feed, they might not even know that all of this stuff is happening, which is why I always ask you guys, share this stuff, because it helps to bring people like Jesse in and go, holy shit, wait a minute. You're back? It's like I really never went anywhere because we've been hanging out here in the war room the whole time. But yes, exactly. Paula says, welcome, Jesse. Exactly. So we're constantly growing the war room, constantly growing the podcast. So Jesse, just so you know, there's this thing called the Mistress Carrie podcast, which you can get at all of these locations. This week's guest, the episode goes live at midnight. Episode number 12 of the weekly Mistress Carrie podcast is featuring the one and only Mike Shue. And if you are looking to listen to the podcast, you can find it in any one of these locations, wherever you listen to podcasts, basically. And people in 80 countries have found the podcast. So I'm glad that you found it as well. So spread the word for any of your fellow AAFers or rock fans. Next Cocktails in the War Room, are you going to wear your wedding dress or the bunny suit? Tony wants to know. Tony is obsessed. He just wants to know what's going on. Michael says, I was hit by a train and survived. Wait, what? Lucy and Snoopy, get iodine, get the disinfectant. Oh, boy. Best wishes for a fantastic wedding. Thank you very much, Kathy. I appreciate that. I do want to remind you guys, for people like Jesse that may not know all of the places on social where you can find me, on Twitter at Mistress Carrie, on Instagram and Facebook, obviously, where you're seeing me right now on Facebook at Mistress Carrie WAF, my new YouTube channel, which is Mistress Carrie. And then I set up a Cameo account that if you want to wish someone properly a happy birthday, congratulate them on graduating, getting a promotion, celebrate someone's divorce or engagement, or make baby announcement news. I have not done a Cameo video for a gender reveal yet, which I think would be pretty cool. If somebody wanted to coordinate a gender reveal where I tell you what the sex of your upcoming baby is going to be, you can have those videos custom made for you on Cameo, which, if you don't know what Cameo is, it's an app that people from all different walks of life, musicians, athletes, influencers, actors, whoever, you can get them to make custom videos for you. And some of them, I think like Alice Cooper's, are like $400 a video. Mine are super affordable. So if you want to get a custom Cameo video, you can do that on Cameo at Mistress Carrie. And then obviously, if you want to get the Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you can get it at Mistress Carrie on Patreon as well. And yes, the TikTok is up there, but I have not put up any TikTok videos. Maybe I'll make a TikTok video at the wedding and post it. I don't know. I haven't decided what my first foray into TikToking is going to be yet, but it's up there if you want to follow my empty TikTok profile right now, so you get alerted, and I end up in your For You scroll if I end up making my first one sooner than later. So Bill and Ted hits this weekend. That was the last thing that I wanted to talk about, actually, Keith. Thank you for the reminder. Bill and Ted 3 hits on demand and in theaters that are open this weekend, which I cannot wait for. So excited. I don't know when I'm going to be able to find the time over the next week to watch the movie, but my goal is to watch it before we meet in the war room so that we can talk about it next week. So if you guys watch it, obviously tweet at me and comment on Facebook and stuff. And Heidi, baby announcement? Not my baby announcement, Heidi. I'm saying if you want me to make a custom Cameo video for you to make a baby announcement, I will make that announcement for you. Let's not get it all twisted. No, it's not a shotgun wedding, Michael. Stop it. So if you guys, speaking of Cameo, would you like to tell a narcissistic psychopath to go fuck themselves? I told one guy in one of the Cameo videos to stop being a sexist pig. Somebody had me make a video for that. Never made a TikTok. I know, but I could. Hurry up so we can duet you, says Kimberly. Oh my God. Yeah, that's going to happen. Will you go to the theater? Joe, I would go to the theater and go and see it. Obviously not sitting next to anybody and wearing a mask, although it would be hard to eat popcorn. My favorite movie theater combination is popcorn and a cherry icy. So to be able to do those things while watching a movie and having to navigate the mask might be a little bit complicated, but I miss going to the movies. I love that experience of being fully immersed in the dark theater with the giant screen and having a room full of people laughing and gasping with you. And so, yeah, I definitely want to go to the movies and see it. But if I can't, then I will get it on demand and I will watch it at home. William says, why? What do you got going on other than my garden? We talked about it at the start. Were you not here at the beginning of the war room? This is my last single woman war room. And by the time we meet next week, there'll be another ring on the finger. And I want to thank everybody with Mistress Carrie Backstage Passes for all of your input as to what you think my wedding band should look like. Travis, I looked into what you had suggested, and it doesn't come in purple. So not an option. So that's the other cool thing about the Backstage Pass is that there's a lot more hidden stuff that we talk about. We meet in smaller groups. You're going to have access to a lot of different things, including polls and video stuff. We're going to be doing some extra live streaming stuff. The War Room is always going to be here. It's always going to be free. It's always going to be this special place where we all meet. But if you're looking for even more stuff, more exclusive stuff, behind the scenes stuff, and then once we get the Mistress Carrie online store up and running, people with backstage passes are also going to be able to get discounted merchandise and stuff like that as well. So it's a great way for me to get feedback from you guys, get opinions on things. I ask questions about what your opinions are. And so that's why I love having the backstage passes. And I asked about some feedback on my wedding band, and a lot of the people with the backstage passes gave me some great advice on that. But I know, Travis, I'm sorry. Still cool, but not exactly the way that I was looking for it. So there you go. Sorry, I needed a big gulp of sangria. All right. I'm making a lot of weird noises tonight there. And then this one. Very strange. All right, I think we covered everything. Do not forget, tonight at midnight, episode 12 of the Mistress Carrie podcast goes live, featuring the one and only, the sexy, the not a doctor, Mike Shue. Details on his 2 podcasts and also his new radio gig as well, plus discussions about music. Yes, we talked about WAAF. We actually talked a little bit about some of our former AAFers and got some updates from some of our former cohorts at WAAF. So I don't want to give everything away. So make sure you listen to the podcast episode, and make sure that you guys share this one. I really want to make sure that all of the AAFers out there that have been scattered to the wind since the station went off the air know that this episode is out there. So if they haven't found the Mistress Carrie podcast yet, if they're wondering what Mike Shue is up to, if they're wondering what everybody else is up to, this is a great podcast to kind of get you back involved with everything and to get brought up to speed on what everybody's working on. So super excited for you guys to hear it. Super excited to be able to share all of the great news that's going to come out of the next week for me. Can't wait to take you on the journey. Thanks to everybody that got their backstage passes already. Thank you for all of the support and the celebrating, and for meeting up with me every Tuesday night at 8:30 here in the War Room. You guys know I love you, especially you, Fernandez, and your freaking sangria. That's the most delicious thing on the planet. And I can't wait to see you guys next week. Watch Bill and Ted. Get the new Seether album. Check out their Live and Loaded live concert stream on Sunday. And thank you guys for all the love. It's nice to have something to smile about. Find something to smile about this week, and we'll get together to talk about all the good news and all the happy news next Tuesday. So Wednesday says goodnight. I'll see you guys later. Don't look anything weird. Wash your damn hands.